Hello and welcome to Nice and Blunt. I'm Adam Rancho. Today's Wednesday, July 8th, 4:20 p.m. right on the dot. We're going to draft one Best Ball Mania today, a little prep before Best Ball Jeopardy, and then tonight we will be live again, but going to get one stream in before all that kicks off. Let's go. No weed today. We're just hopping in, and if you want to join, by all means, enter if you dare. It's taking a minute to load, but I am just hopping in to BBM. Not really sure. This hasn't taken this long to load in a minute, so let's bring in the chat. What's up, Hallie Lion? How we doing? And appreciate y'all popping in on very short notice. Not sure what's going on. Yo, that's weird. that's very strange. Let me make sure I'm not active right now in a draft. That was not expected. So some technical issues. Anything active going on? Nope, just my slows. Yeah, my funds are still there. I don't think it worked. So, all right, I'll hop in again. Five spots open in this BBM. Hope you didn't get rug pulled. I don't think so, but odds are didn't happen. So, all right, here we are. Like I mentioned, excited for today and thought I'd brush up on the Best Ball Mania ADP real quick. Haven't drafted one of these in several days, and you never know how quickly things change. So might as well refresh my memory real quick. Not going to look at the ranks, going to look at the ADP, and hopefully we get a good pick. We get pick 5, definitely not my favorite, not ideal. I might just accept my fate, though, and take JSN. We'll see. Let me check my exposures in this particular contest. I have not taken JSN yet in this contest. So if that's who's there, I think I'll probably just mix him in. Feels worth it. Don't have Christian McCaffrey in this contest either. That's also something notable. Maybe I take him if I really want to. But the draft is underway. We have pick 5. And we're only ripping one draft today. So we'll be live later tonight, like I mentioned, with guest Who Hames. We'll recap our matchup and hopefully draft a shipper. But very excited to play against Who Hames, a friend of the channel, a man I respect, a friend indeed. To think that one of us will advance to the next round is perfect. That's what's on the line. One of us will have success in the long run. And I'm excited to see what happens. But yeah, that was very odd, right, Hallie Lion? Not sure. But Young Moolah, answer the poll question may hinge upon which stream you are currently watching. Yeah, he has a poll. Might as well have a poll on mine. It's obviously biased depending on where you are. But appreciate you for popping in, Young Moolah. Thank you very much for saying hello. What's up, Chris the Candyman? Yo, he knows about Best Ball Jeopardy. The Candyman made it pretty far last year. So do Who Hames. Who Hames definitely advanced pretty far. And I have no idea what will happen. I don't know if I'm the true underdog or favorite. I have no idea. But you know what? I'm just going to take JSN today. I haven't been hating the wide receiver starts as much lately. And we're just going to eat our vegetables, accept our fate. We get pick 5. I will draft a few more BBMs. I don't have JSN yet, so let's make sure we don't get completely crushed in case he goes off like last year. But Air Jeff, aloha to you as well. Appreciate that. Appreciate the good luck. When it comes to tonight, there's part of me that's a little worried I over-prepared in an attempt to cram last night. There was maybe a little bit more time than needed spent skimming some graphics, some stats, and who knows, maybe I logged too much information that's irrelevant as well. But the old noggin, gonna trust the memory bank, hopefully. I think if there's one area where maybe I have a slight advantage, it's that sometimes stats are very relevant, especially on those spike week charts. I'm not saying I'm a lock to get those right, but I do log every individual player's stats over the course of the week in my own database to make sure I have some charts that are accurate to present for certain videos. So there are certain things that I may have just like inherently logged in the back of my mind because I really don't know where else I can get an advantage. Who Hames knows his shit. I feel like all the scheduling shit is probably gonna be an easy one for him. But who knows? It's really a gamble. There's so many factors, and I don't want to sell myself short. I also don't want to underestimate Who Hames. I think it's going to be a very good game, regardless. I've been active in the chat, so is Who Hames, and there have been some questions that I've gotten correct sooner than anyone else. There's also some questions I've guessed first and been dead wrong on, so a lot of factors tonight at stake. We'll see what happens. I kind of want to just take Bowers. I kind of feel like Bowers is worth it, but let's go with Bowers. I'll just take Bowers. I think it's a little safer. I also might get screwed where receiver in the third is also the move, and I'm a little less excited. But if you tell me I have a Bowers team in Best Ball Mania, we have the number one player overall at the position that is inherently an advantage in and of itself. But what's up, Goofy Chicken? Appreciate you for popping in, and thank you for the good luck. I'm excited for tonight. I got some pregame jitters, but trying to shake it off, get in the zone, and what better way to do that than draft a BBM from the 5 slot, my least desired pick on the board. I'm starting to hate pick 4 as well, just as much, but pick 5 is definitely not the spot I want to have. So far, JSN Brock Bowers, maybe not the most unique, but there's a world where those two guys are just very, very good picks in their respective rounds. But Air Jeff says lobby games is getting thin. They need to drop some more tournaments. I mean, they have quite a few open, but there are several that just closed. I think once the marathon that they dropped last Friday does close, you'll probably get something else, but that might not happen today. It might happen tomorrow. And they might just wait for Frenchy Friday as well. If I had to guess at this point where some of the contests stand that are open the entire length of the summer, I wouldn't be surprised if they're more inclined to just stick with Frenchy Fridays and drop 2 on Friday if they need to. That's possible. I have no idea. I don't work for Underdog. We're just a partner of theirs. And one quick reminder, promo code BLUNT gets you $50 in bonus entries after you play your first 5. The link is in the description. Terms apply. You must be a new customer, and you also get your first deposit matched up to $1,000. It's matched by 50%. Let's get back to the draft. The team in front of me goes T. Higgins. Gets a little bit different. Pulls him up. Not excited at all to be drafting Breece Hall, which is what the ADP says. That's not exciting whatsoever. And this is maybe one of the issues with having Bowers there, but I'm not afraid. I'm just going to pull up Ladd McConkey. I could go with Olave here, but let's get a little bit different. I'm hopeful that who I want in the 4th is still going to be there with my next pick, and I'm not terrified to push running back one more round. We're drafting from the 5 slot. You got to be bold, and I do have Bowers ranked above all those receivers at the 2-3 turn. Maybe he's not going to outperform them. I could see Rashee Rice in like a really ideal scenario, maybe be better. Maybe Drake London, but Pickens and Nico, I definitely don't want over Bowers. And Ladd, we're just pulling up, and you probably know where this team might be heading. There's a pick I love who's been moving up the board a little bit. He would correlate with this team so far. But Fimpst, welcome, Pepper Tony. Appreciate you for joining us. I beat you to it. I found the the live for tonight's Best Ball Jeopardy game, and I got the first Fimpst in the chat. Maybe that is my good luck charm. Maybe that's how I win. Start off hot with the Fimpst. Good luck. But thank you, Best Ball on call. Appreciate it. GLs. to you as well. The poll currently is very much weighted in one direction. I could easily see this flipping. I don't know if 92% is what the odds makers would put it at. So answer the poll if you haven't done so. But we'll see what happens. Terry McLaurin goes at 42. The name I really want might get sniped here, but Knuckle I don't think is going to do it. Already has 2 running backs. If you know, you know. Sweet, he's there. And honestly, he's top of ADP. Oh, no, he's top of my rankings. I would much rather have him than Garrett Wilson. Fuck that shit. So give me Cam Scatterbo. Come on down. We need a running back. And if Scatterbo was not injured, he would legitimately be a 3rd-round pick. I think he can be more valuable than not just Javonte Williams, who went above him in this draft, not just Josh Jacobs, not just Travis Etienne, but Kyron Williams, Breece Hall, and even Jeremiah Love, I think, might not outscore Cam Scatterbo. I think there's legitimate upside where we're drafting him in the 2nd round next year, and injury is really the only factor. When you consider how much it deflates his price, that really notes how high the ceiling is when we're terrified of the injury he had last year, even though it wasn't that late in the year. It was like week 7, week 8. It wasn't that late. I don't think it was in the double-digit weeks. Like, latest it happened was week 9. I think it happened week 8. I believe it was week 8. You know what? I could double-check that with the Fanspeak guide. I do not have that pulled up at the moment. But I'll look it up separately. Just to confirm. I think it happened week 8. Anyways, I'm about to be on the clock, so I want to lock back in. Not care too much about that particular stat on Scatterbo when round 5 is of utmost importance. Round 5 has some good running back values. There's some players here. Would love a Swift, would love a Byshel Tootin. We'll see what Team 4 does. They went quadruple receiver to start. They did take Garrett Wilson at pick 45. Are they going to lock in receiver number 5 here? Maybe they go Lamar. Maybe they get the bring back with T. Higgins. I would assume running back. He goes Montgomery, and I was not that excited about Montgomery. In terms of ADP, it pairs up with my ranking. While I do have Lamar ranked above Travion, I think I just need running back a little bit more. And his true upside is also in the 3rd round with Scatterbo. I think we're really just shooting for first place here. We're going to build out some depth. I think I'm trying to draft like 6 receivers on this team, but we start off with 2 excellent wideouts. The elite tight end, the 6th running back is not going to be the most cumbersome piece to add. So with Bowers, I can definitely stop at 2 tight ends. That's going to be nice. I kind of want to get a strong number 2. Maybe not the most expensive possible, but I wouldn't be terrified of kind of locking in another 20-plus point ceiling at the tight end spot. Wouldn't hate it. But Drake May goes pick 61 to the A.J. Brown drafter. Makes a lot of sense. Definitely wasn't going to make it back. And if you're going to pull up A.J. Brown there, you may as well get the stack. I think that's definitely the right call. But about to be on the clock. Quarterback could be an option here based on the new ADP. I'm not dying to take a Quentin Johnston, but it could double stack. Maybe that's not the worst move ever, but I'm willing to push it. I kind of want to take Tyler Warren, to be honest with you. I don't think it's the worst decision ever, but it's not ideal. I think I'm just going to stick with running back, a player I think fits the roster nicely and has room to rise. I'm not afraid to take Tony Pollard here at 68. It is where I rank him. In actuality, I have Tony Pollard ranked 68th overall. So give me Pollard. He can definitely go higher than this. And he's the running back I trust the most in this round. I honestly think he might be safer than Jadarian Price. So give me Pollard. This contest maybe had him available in the late 7th. Maybe he even fell to you at the top of the 8th. But no one's really getting him past pick 80 most of the time. And he's typically on this side of the board. I think he's a good pick here. And while Tyler Warren is nice, I think with Bowers, it's just not not the wise move to be making. But Burrow goes to the Higgins drafter. He only has Montgomery at running back. I'm happier with my running back room, that's for sure. And I've been shying away from the JSN start, but ultimately I think picking it up like this, like Ladd maybe shouldn't be going this high, but like true upside, last year we drafted him in the second round, and you know what the plan is, so not going to make a mistake in ugly round 7. Thankfully, nobody took Quentin Johnston here in the 6th round, so I would assume I'll probably get our boy, but you really ultimately never know. All right, I'm looking up Cam Skadbo. He played 8 games last season. He was injured in week 8. I was correct. He was injured in week 8. That's not it's not December 25th. That is late October, but still not the end of the world. I think he can get back to 100% in time to really do some damage in the regular season, and especially if we advance to the playoff structure. Holy shit. Give me Skadbo on the team all day long. All right. Anything weird going to happen here, or I'll just queue him up because I'm not sure. He goes Mekhi Lemon. The ADP has swung QJ up the board, but remember, in Best Ball Mania, he was not always this expensive. It's not the most attractive pick at all. So if anything, the Ladd price is getting a little more exciting because Quentin Johnston's much more expensive. And I'm not afraid to get different. And then also set up this perfect stack here. Herbert will be the MVP, if you ask me. But happy Wednesday to you as well, Shamrock. Appreciate you for popping in. Albie in the house, good evening and good luck. Thank you very much. I am very excited. I hope I don't shit the bed. But I think I'll be able to lock in. I'm not too worried about it. I think it's more a matter of, will I get enough access to the board? I'm a little worried that Huhames goes on an extensive run at one point, and like a full category is just like wiped clean. And I'm like, okay, I don't get to answer at all in this category because Huhames knows every answer. That would be my biggest fear. But there's also, I think, some strengths I have going into tonight. And I promise you, I will give my best effort. I'm going to try and make it as close of a game as possible, or as much of a blowout as possible. I'm trying to win here. If I can clear the board as well, I'm not going to hesitate. So may the best competitor win tonight, and whoever wins tonight, I hope advances to the final. Should be a good matchup this evening. Very excited. Very excited. But Albie, we do another draft, have something new and shiny on my avatar. I'll be honest, I need to get some food before Best Ball Jeopardy tonight. I would like to eat before that happens. And I think for the sake of time, I think we're only drafting one in BBM. And then afterwards, I'll be going live again with Huhames, and we'll be drafting as well post game. So look out for that. We'll be live afterwards, but definitely want to shout out the Fanspeak Network for hosting me. Really, really grateful for the opportunity and excited for the match. The time for the contest, the duel tonight, if you will. The matchup is in just under 2 hours, 6:30 p.m. Pacific, 9:30 Eastern. Interesting. Rico Dowdle does fall. I kind of want to do it. I'd feel pretty good about this. There's also the bring back week 17 versus Pollard. I'm going to do it. I'm going to trust JSN and Ladd McConkey, the stack that I built out. And having 4 running backs you like by this round is one of the ways to feel very strong about your chances overall. We can get some receiver depth. We have JSN, so we have our elite option. And I'm going to stop at 2 tight ends. I'm not too worried about it. Let's fucking send it. Now, this pocket of the draft is pretty good for receiver, but I don't really have a stacking partner that I need to force. So It's definitely not the end of the world. The only one that would make sense here would be Jackson Dart because I have Scatabo, and in all honesty, it's not the end of the world if I don't take him. I think I'm kind of tempted to go in the cheaper direction, in all honesty, at quarterback. Receiver will thin out rather quickly. I could take Laporta if I really wanted to, but I don't think I want to with Bowers here. If Chris the Candyman is still watching, I know he wants me to go with his man Michael Wilson. I honestly might do it. I might consider it. It's not the worst pick here at 101, but it's not the most exciting. There is the bring back, however, and to trust Marvin Harrison is kind of wild. Laporta does go. My rank says Ricky Pearsall. ADP says Michael Wilson. The bring back is why I'm going to do it. Let's pay attention to week 17. That's where you have a chance to win $2 million in this contest. Let's go Michael Wilson. Last year's elite option in this offense. Definitely showcased a higher ceiling than Marvin Harrison. And you know what? 35 picks after Marvin Harrison. If you're only going to draft one, I think I'd rather take Michael Wilson. Obviously feels a little gross to grab receiver there, but other than Michael Pittman, I'm not really convinced there was any other receiver that was more valuable than Michael Wilson with our previous selection. So I think just betting on the depth at a position that started off a weakness and became a strength. Like, we plucked Rico Dowdle away from Team 4 that only had David Montgomery. That could have saved Team 4 and made this lobby more competitive, maybe not giving us the same advantage. But if we get a slow start out of Scatabo or Travion at all, I like having the mix of Pollard and Rico Dowdle. I'm actually really happy about how this running back room turned out. Rico is one of my favorite picks in the 8th round and have no issue with him at 92. Y'all know how I feel. He's a very good pick. But Jordan Mason moving up the board. Heard him get steamed up on Best Ball Breakfast today by Peter Overzet, so definitely checks out. And Kelsey goes 113. Interesting. But Shamrock asking, do you think Diggs will sign with another team soon? I honestly kind of feel like once the World Cup is over, all the NFL news is going to avalanche. Sweet. Matthew Golden fell down here. Matthew Golden I have ranked very high. Honestly, not much different than Michael Wilson. And this pairs perfectly. I don't have a reason to take Stafford, so I'm going to give the Puka team a little gift. If they want Stafford there, he is on a silver platter at 117. I did not need him anywhere near as much as I needed Matthew Golden here. So love the upside proposition on Golden. He's one of my most drafted players, actually. My current exposure on Matthew Golden in BBM is already shit. I have a lot of Matthew. I'm at 35% in my BBM entries on Matthew Golden, actually. Overall, it's definitely not that high, but he gets slept on, he falls, and his breakout potential is pretty notable. Wow, the Puka drafter passed. Let Stafford fall to 120. The Adams drafter picks him up. Very interesting. Going to get Pittman and Stafford together. That's a unique combo. Kind of like that, honestly. But, okay, coming back around. I want to shoot for upside here. My ranks have the quarterbacks, but Aaron Jones, top ADP. If Mason is going to get the camp report steam like he recently has, then maybe it's worth fading Aaron Jones a little bit. Chris Rodriguez, very interesting pick. I don't mind it, but our running back room is now possibly a strength. I don't want to overload too much on it. We got the MVP and Herbert stacked up with Ladd. We got Bowers, the best tight end. But I mentioned to you, I think having another tight end that offers elite upside is also pretty interesting. And there's a name I've been looking at recently that I think might be one of the best values at the position, actually. And I'm going to mix him in here. I'm definitely not taking Shakir ahead of ADP. Diggs has already risen in ADP. He actually used to go like 12, 15 picks later. So I'm going to go Kincaid here Whether you like it or not, I think this offers a truly elite combo, and it's definitely good enough for me to stop at 2. And I also didn't ignore the tight end position to such an extent where I kind of have a nothing contributor as number 2. Kincaid will hit my lineup, will spike, and if it's paired with the Bowers spikes, I can definitely hit the flex spot with tight end with just Bowers and Kincaid. Very different bye weeks, and by getting Bowers, I think you insulate yourself from some of the injury risk of Kincaid. Going to maybe not completely adopt the stance of a former Best Ball Mania winner, Best Ball champion Liam Murphy, but I do think Kincaid offers some of the highest upside in this round. The washed veterans at tight end aren't as enticing in terms of true upside as the round 1 third-year breakout, Dalton Kincaid. Is it year 4 for Kincaid? Yes, it's year 4, actually. Last year, he had 5 touchdowns. That's what was missing for him. But it's really just consistency. He had 91 targets his rookie season. Injuries have affected him, but 75 targets last year, 49 in 2025. The breakout's definitely there. It's possible. We're just a year too late on Kincaid. I guess 2 years too late. Last year, he also wasn't going as high. But, okay. Keaton Mitchell makes it back. Not sure I'm going to go in that direction. I was really hopeful I would get Rashid Shaheed. But Jalen McMillan is someone I trust, I like quite a bit. I don't think I need running back or the other positions. I'm going to go with McMillan. I think I need some receiver points. The depth is definitely something I want to secure. And a stacking partner is gone. I was really hopeful I could get Sam Darnold. He went to the Jadarian Price drafter as his first quarterback. Damn. Jaws 93 taking my team down with him, with his own. Damn it. That's a bummer. I would have assumed maybe the Shaheed drafter took him, but I was like, damn, why is Darnold not there? It's because he's already been taken. But I only have one quarterback. I have Herbert. I'm willing to trust him. I maybe needed quarterback around there, but the teams around this turn have already invested heavily in that position. We've got a triple quarterback team already with Hurts, Daniels, and Baker. There's the Mahomes Stafford drafter. There's Purdy, Willis, Burrow, and Shuck. I think leaning into what makes me a little unique and hoping that I get a good value on the way back around is also a pretty viable strategy as well. Think it's going to be okay. But I think my chat totally... Yeah. The chat has been a little bit lagging since last night. But Albie with a question, what are the deets on this Best Ball Jeopardy? I will answer that in just a second. We're about to be on the clock. My rank says Hunter Henry. The ADP has Stroud falling. Not a player I like, but I think I'm probably just going to take him because of the nature of the position and where I stand. I wanted Darnold either in the last round or here. And with Stroud just being available, I think I just have to bite the bullet. I'll take Stroud at 149. I need the points. Just got to advance. I trust Herbert a lot, so I don't think it's the end of the world. I don't have a stacking partner, though. It would have been much better to have Cam Ward, who at least paired with Pollard had the bring back with Dowdle, but Sam Darnold was ultimately who I wanted on this team. It's not the end of the world. I'm really not upset with it. My team's built out pretty nicely. I think I have really, really good depth, and trusting Justin Herbert, I think, is the move. But Diggs is the play. I went with Kincaid there, going a little bit off the beaten path. And in a contest like this that's been open since the end of April, Diggs has gone much cheaper in this contest. You are not getting an advantage by reaching on Diggs a little bit. Now, maybe he deserves to rise another couple rounds, but I don't know if he rises into the top 100, and I definitely have plenty of Diggs already in this thing. I am already sitting at 18% Diggs I only had 6%. Dalton Kincaid. But C Money's in the house. GM to you as well. Thank you, Bukowski. Appreciate the good luck. Did I cut out? I'm not sure. But yeah, the chat died from my perspective. It's back, but we'll see. But Dalton Schultz should still be available to stack with Stroud. Maybe the only problem with that is that I want to stop at 2 tight ends. I want to be done with Bowers and Kincaid. So I'm mainly just taking Stroud there for the points. I think I might take a very late stacking partner. There are some receivers that do offer some value at the tail end of the draft. There's a couple that are very cheap to acquire. So the back stack with Stroud is the main plan. I do also get the bring back. We get Golden versus Stroud, week 17. But my boy is available. I guess both of them. The question is, what will happen around this turn? Tank Bigsby gets sniped. Tank Bigsby is unavailable, so I'm not going to take him. I think I'm just going to grab Trey Harris. We get the double stack here. Ladd McConkey, Trey Harris. I think it's a pretty viable option. The only question is if I'm getting sniped on my quarterback. I don't think I will, because I think the other teams that have access to him as a stacking partner are on the other side of the board. I do not think my backstack will be gone. I'm hopeful that is not the case. But Trey Harris there, just building out the receiver position. I'm planning to take at least 8, and I think leaning into this Herbert bet, I think is the move. I think we're in a solid spot going with Trey Harris there. Also a riser in ADP. But okay, for the audio listeners, we're sitting at a 2-4-6-2 in Best Ball Mania. Our quarterbacks right now are Herbert and CJ Stroud. We got Stroud at an 8-pick fall, unstacked. But Cam Scatterboat, Travion Henderson, Tony Pollard, and Rico Dowdle are my running backs. I feel surprisingly good about my running back room out of the 5th pick. But receiver room is top heavy, and then the depth is actually not bad at all. We got JSN, Ladd McConkey with the stack. We got Michael Wilson at 101. He's fallen consistently. Might fall a little further, but probably not any further than this. Not dramatically. Matthew Golden at 116 was a nice gift, in my opinion. Jalen McMillan, just because I like him a lot. And then Trey Harris for the double stack. Our tight end room is fucking awesome with Bowers and Kincaid. But here, I'm not interested in Bryce Young. He's still available, but not a stacking partner at all. I'm going to go Mendoza. I think it's a pretty clear option. I could go with Rodgers, pair him up with Rico Dowdle, but I got a ton of Rodgers in this contest already, and we have Bowers on this one. It makes even more sense, I think, to go with Mendoza. So let's take him. Our third quarterback might not play until week 7 or 8. So hopefully if he's inactive, Stroud just delivers week 7. I'm curious what his matchup in that spot's going to be, but maybe Mendoza just forces his way onto the field earlier than expected. But at least in Best Ball Mania, if you're telling me I have a Raiders quarterback in the fantasy playoffs, it better be Mendoza. I don't expect Cousins to be on the field at all. So with Bowers, I think the stacking piece you need is Mendoza. We also get the bring back with Michael Wilson. That was one reason we took him where we did. But all honesty, the team is coming together quite nicely. I'm done at quarterback. I'm done at tight end. And we've got 3 clicks left. I think 2 more receivers, 1 more running back. If I can fit RB6, I might not mind it. But I think by getting Rico Dowdle as RB4, I think just stopping at 5 is a pretty viable pathway here. Got no issue if that's the ultimate decision. But disbanded, welcome in. Thanks for joining us. And Albie, didn't see you at Bowers, so 2 tight ends makes sense. Yeah, the Schultz pick would have definitely made a lot of sense had I not already drafted Kincaid. And that's where maybe I should have taken a different position. Maybe just grabbed a quarterback there. But I wasn't inclined to reach on Darnold. I don't think that was worth it. The true upside of Kincaid is a top 5 league winner, unlike some of the other names in this category. Goddard could do that. Andrews, I don't think will give you anywhere near the yardage as Kincaid will. But I don't have a stacking partner here at tight end, so definitely not inclined to do that. I could go with running back first, but I'm going to queue up Tank Dell in case I'm indecisive about it. I will take Tank Dell here just to get, I think, the true elite upside stack. I'd rather have the shot on Tank Dell, honestly, than Jalen Knoll. I think if one of them can drop a 20-point game multiple weeks over the course of the season and pay off this ADP with several spikes, I think it is Tank Dell, much more so than Jalen Knoll. Knoll barely had like any games over 10 points. He had a couple 8-pointers. I believe they involved Davis Mills and an injury to Christian Kirk. There were not the most instances where Jalen Knoll showcased much spike week ability. Tank Dell, at one point in time, we drafted in the 3rd round. So if I'm going to take Stroud, let's get as exciting as possible with it. Really, the only excellent production we've seen out of CJ Stroud is directly correlated, very much linked to the Tank Dell connection. So let's get it. Definitely want an 8th receiver with him on the team, though. Not afraid about it, though. Happy with that. And then here, I'm really hopeful I can get a bring back option. I think I will. I don't think this team is going to snipe me on running back, but I almost took him in the 16th round and said, no, I think it's worth waiting. And I was rewarded. Let's take him. He's been moving up the board, and it is a matchup bring back versus Cam Scatterbill. Let's go Jaden Blue here. Elite upside in the Cowboys system if Javonte goes down, but also possible that he has a standalone role, actually just catches more passes this year, might actually get some work. And as I've paid a little closer attention to some of the ADPs, he's someone you might want to get before it's too late. Also been getting a bunch of hype earlier today. Was definitely mentioned a few times on the most popular broadcast of the morning. So grabbing him here. And honestly, from the 5 slot, the only way I like this team more is if I have Sam Darnold instead of CJ Stroud. That's really the only way I like this team more than I already do. The Stroud unstacked at 149, always gross, but just kind of needed the points and accepting my fate with a guy I'm not too fond of, but can drop 20 plus points on occasion. He's not completely irrelevant in the run game. Not a strong suit by any means, but has some upside. There were instances where we believed in CJ Stroud's potential, and maybe it just is linked to him having a healthy Tank Dell. Maybe that is the skeleton key piece we actually need this year. Maybe I'm wrong about fading CJ Stroud all this time, but here we are taking him, and I don't mind it. Last pick of the draft here. We could go running back if we really wanted to, but I think the Jordan James, Kalen Black bet is pretty interesting. Otherwise, it's kind of like maybe James Conner, but I think with Rico as our 4th, it's not worth it. I'll queue him up just in case I time out, but Knoll is an option. Brennan Thompson is an option. Those are my ranks, not ADP. I don't think I'm going to take Knoll. I think I'm actually going to take Keenan Allen. I've been talking myself into it lately. I believe he will play, not for the Chargers, but that is a possibility. That is still an option in terms of landing spots. And maybe that Trey Harris pick is really terrible because Keenan is just so good. But I believe Keenan will go somewhere else. And I think all 3 of these Chargers bets I got right now, Ladd, Trey Harris, and Keenan at pass catcher, will individually pay off, respectively. All right. Fun team. Honestly, I love it. I think this team is fantastic. I'm really excited about this one. We got our boy Herbert, the MVP this year, the value on Stroud, and then the Bowers stack late in the season. You will want Mendoza over Christian Kirk. Kirk Cousins. I mix those two guys up quite often. Kirk Cousins, not the play, I think, in BBM. But Cam Scatterboot holding it down, our RB1, betting on the breakout, trusting the breakout on Travion, just the elite upside. But if they do have a slow start, if they're not maybe the most consistent weapons ever, we do have a high floor play in our lineup in the flex. We got Tony Pollard and Rico Dowdle. This fall on Rico, I think, may have saved the team. I'm pretty happy with this team so far. And then Jaden Blue for that Cam Scatterbo bring back, plus maybe the cheapest price you might be getting the rest of the contest on Jaden Blue. We got JSN, though, holding it down. This pick really helps the team a lot because in terms of target share, it's not going anywhere. I don't believe Cooper Kupp steals anything from him. If anything, he falls off dramatically. Shaheed should step up, got paid to do so, but also just a special teams guy, according to some. And $17 million at receiver doesn't mean the same it once did. It's only $2 million more than Jalen Naylor. We got Ladd McConkey, though, betting on Herbert. That's ultimately what this is about. Michael Wilson, just because I needed the points. Golden at a big value. McMillan for more points. Trey Harris, the stack. Tank Dell, the stack. And then Keenan, the sneaky upside veteran. And then the elite tight end combo with Bowers and Kincaid. Access to that 20-point upside with both. I love this team. All right, let me catch up with the chat because looks like you guys want answers to something. But yeah, surprise early stream today. And before the big event, we got an hour and a half before tip-off. Head over to the Fanspeak Network. I'm actually going to find the link so I can link it in the chat. Make sure everyone hits the notify me button before it goes live. Let me pull it up just so it's there for everyone. Where are we going? Fanspeak Network. Give me just a second. I know it's riveting to listen to, but give me just a second. All right. Copy the link. All right, finally. Holy shit. There we go. This is the link to the live stream. We'll be live in just shy of an hour and a half, and it's Best Ball Jeopardy tonight. I will be going against Huhames, and I didn't play last year. Huhames did. Huhames advanced in Best Ball Jeopardy last season, so if anything, I think he might be the favorite. But appreciate the good luck wishes from everyone. Excited for the outcome. Win or lose, I'm very excited. I could not ask for anything more. Let's go for the jugular, though. Let's try to win. But X Hutch could steal any Dell targets. I'm not worried about Xavier Hutchinson. The only concern with Dell is if he's healthy or not. But Shamrock, what is Best Ball Jeopardy? It's a game played on the Fanspeak Network. It's been live once a week for the last, I want to say 6 or 7 weeks. I believe this is the 7th iteration of the first round. And I think there's only one more matchup before round 2 after tonight. But there's a lot of trivia questions, and it is presented along the same lines as Jeopardy, very close to the same rules, but it is all under a Best Ball umbrella, all centered around Underdog, Best Ball Mania, as well as last year's stats and just overall knowledge of the game of football. So multiple elements, 6 categories, 5 questions per category, 30 total, and hopefully I do not get swept. Hopefully I put up a good fight. I think I will, but going to be an interesting battle. No doubt about it. But you are here. You are you. You are not your body. You have a body. And you are not your name. You have a name. You are the soul inside, disbanded. Where are you here on this planet? But we need answers. I'm trying to give you them. Jack Dog in the house, though, says Wilson at wide receiver 3 and Golden at wide receiver 4 is rough, but you got great deal on Golden. It's not the most exciting, but I think overall the depth does hit in its own ways. And I also believe that there are breakout arguments for both of them. Trusting JSN and Ladd in the lineup is kind of the main crux of the argument for this team. Like, we're also going to need Kincaid to hit the flex on occasion. But if I only need 3 receivers every week and JSN and Ladd hit the lineup like 80% of the time, if not 90% of the time, I'm not really asking too much more of the weekly contributions. They will spike enough. And then we did see it from Michael Wilson. We also know that the Packers historically draft elite wideouts. Their scouting department rarely misses. So we are gambling a little bit on these takes, but I think just trusting the round 1 anchor Ladd we pulled up, so expecting his year 3 breakout, and then it also is stacked up, so like, you know, the argument surrounding the Chargers is pretty compelling on this, and then we've got a lot of, you know, I haven't seen it yet, but if it hits, we're in business, and like, you know, the true nutted upside argument is definitely there for really everyone other than Stroud on this team. Like, I guess technically Stroud was a 5th round pick at one point in time. Stroud went top 5 in, you know, the ADP his second year in the NFL. There was a point when people were fucking crazy about CJ Stroud's potential. So I guess there is a truly elite upside argument for every single player on this team. I'm excited. This team is very fun, and we'll see what happens. But thank you for joining me. You are not your effing khakis. Say that to Jim Harbaugh, and you might get slapped in the face. But all right. Appreciate everyone for popping in. A reminder, promo code BLUNT not only gets you $50 in bonus entries on Underdog, the link is in the description, but it also provides you with a 20% discount on the FanSpeak Best Ball Guide, which will be a factor in tonight's Best Ball Jeopardy game. Definitely going to test your wits if you're playing along tonight. It's going to be tough. So follow the link in the description for both of those deals, and highly recommend you check out the FanSpeak Best Ball Guide. Really good information over there. And then if you want this sweet deal on Underdog, $50 in bonus entries, the link is also in the description. But no hit tonight. If you were expecting one before we go, it's just not going to happen. I'm trying to lock in. Time to eat dinner, and then we will be ready for Best Ball Jeopardy afterwards. All right. I'll see you guys there. I'll see you guys later in an hour and 20 minutes over on the FanSpeak Network. Peace out. Goodbye. Later.